Welcome to Inspired by the Quran, a series where we are going to learn Arabic to understand the Quran in the language that it was revealed. The purpose of the class is simple and straightforward. It is to empower the student with certain essential skills that will allow the learner and the student to go beyond basic translation and through the understanding of basic sentence structure and word choices in the Quran, bi'idhnillah. So before I dive into a small orientation or an introduction about the course itself, I want to take a moment here to thank the management team here at East Plano Islamic Center for all the wonderful services that they have been providing to the community since prayers have been suspended last Thursday. SubhanAllah, I mean, all this, the rapid manner in which they came together and put all of this together, SubhanAllah, keep Epic in your du'as and support Epic continually and easily through this pandemic. Now, getting to our class, inshallah, a few things that I want to talk about before I get into the lesson, inshallah. Number one is that if you desire to learn Arabic, and clearly you desire to learn Arabic, that's why you're here today. Regardless of whether the learning is happening online or on-site, as long as your effort is sincere, genuine, inshallah, you are willing to put that commitment, to give that commitment, to put in that effort, inshallah, you will learn Arabic. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will facilitate it for you. My second point is that while you're learning Arabic, do not compare your progress with the person sitting next to you. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given each one of us our abilities. We're unique in that. And the best thing about our relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, unlike this dunya, which is focused on results, with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it's all about efforts. As long as our effort can get through to Him, inshallah, He will accept it from us. So keep that in mind, that you do not compare your progress with anyone. Your effort is your effort, and it is only for Allah to see, inshallah. And then the third point that I want to mention is, and that I want you to remember as we go through this course, is that remain focused on the topic that we are on. And there will be questions that will pop up in your mind, and it's okay for you to ask these questions. The chat link is live. You can post your questions there. But if I feel that the questions are not relevant to the topic, right, that will not really benefit you at this time, or you will simply not be able to understand because you don't have all the necessary knowledge and the essential skills, then my response to that will simply be, you'll learn later. And then we'll move on, inshallah. But please do not hesitate to ask questions. Any questions that pop in your mind, please go ahead and post them. So that's the third point, that we're going to remain focused on the topic at hand, inshallah. And the other thing that I want you to always keep in mind is, don't think about the end. Take it a day at a time, a week at a time. Inshallah, renew your intention every class, every day as you're reviewing, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will facilitate it for you, inshallah. The fourth point that I want to talk about is the format that will apply in this class, is that we're going to learn the concept. Okay, so that's number one. We're going to learn the concept. We're going to practice. Okay, we're going to apply, and then we're going to review. So there are these four things that we're going to be doing in this class. Number one, we're going to learn the concept. Second, we're going to practice that concept. We're going to apply it. Third, we're going to apply it to the Quran, inshallah. And then fourth, review. And the fourth point is where you come in the most. Your effort comes in the most. Once this camera turns off, then it's you reviewing your lesson. As long as you maintain review, as long as you're consistent with it, your intention is right on point, there is no stopping you. Inshallah, you will learn Arabic, and you will learn Arabic. By the way, this is not a spoken Arabic class. We're not learning how to speak here. We're learning how to build and how to develop a deeper connection with the word of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's the purpose. And through that deeper connection, the goal is not that we become able to translate line after line after line or page after page after page, but extract spiritual guidance. That's the purpose of this class, that I want to understand what Allah is saying to me, the personal message that He revealed 1400 years plus years ago. I want to understand it in the language that it was revealed. So inshallah, with that, we will go ahead and we will start today's lesson. But before that, I would like our students here in the studio to repeat for me the 4 points that I mentioned. Sadia, can you start? The first one.
So the first
Don't
one
look at your notes.
Okay, so the first one is, if you desire to learn Arabic, and you need to have sincere effort and a sincere commitment, and then Allah will facilitate the rest.
MashaAllah, very good. What's the second thing that I mentioned?
You shouldn't compare your work to other people, because Allah created us all differently, and all of our progress with learning Arabic is different.
MashaAllah. What's the third point that I told you?
And we're going to remain focused on the current topic.
The current topic. Good. But if you have questions,
You can ask them.
you can always ask them. Very good. What's the fourth point?
There's 4 parts to the class. The first one being learning the concept, and then practicing the concept, and then applying it, and then review.
Very good. And your role is most important in?
The last point.
Which is? Practicing and reviewing, right? So inshallah, we'll review as much as possible in the class, but when the cameras turn off, then you have to make sure that you are going over your notes, inshallah. So the first few classes are going to be very simple, but as we build up, then it will require that you practice, that you spend some time outside of class. It does not require a whole lot, really. It's all about discipline, and like I said in the beginning, online or on-site, it does not matter. If you have the effort and if you have the commitment, inshallah, you will learn Arabic and you will build that relationship that you want to with Quran, and you will be able to understand or make sense at the most basic level, right? I'm not claiming big things here. I'm not saying that you're going to be reading pages after pages from classical tafasirs. That's not what I am claiming here. But at least when you stand in salah, by yourself or behind an imam, you will have a sense of what is being talked to, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking to you, that it's a direct communication between you and Him, inshallah. So with that, let's get started with our lesson today. I cannot see the monitor, but I'm hoping that the lesson is up on the screen for everybody to see, right? It's up on the screen. All right. So our first lesson, inshallah, it's going to be types of words. So one thing that I want to make clear in the beginning is that I'm not going to be very heavy on Arabic terminology, right? So we're going to use more, English, right, to explain what the Arabic terminology means. And the reason I prefer to do that is because Arabic as it is, many people get overwhelmed. They become overwhelmed by it. So to know the terminology in Arabic or in English, honestly, does not make a difference, right? It's how you're understanding the concept. So it's not like that it will be watered down. You will get the content the way you're supposed to get it. The only thing is, the terminologies, they can come later, inshallah, when you're more comfortable with it, okay? So we will start off with our first topic, which is types of words, aqsamul kalimat, right? So in Arabic, you have 3 types of words, all right? The first one is, if you see on the screen, noun, all right? And then you see verb, right? That's the second. And then harf, right? Particle. Get it? So what are the 3? Go ahead. Sawa. Noun. Noun, verb, and particle. And then the Arabic is mentioned for your reference over there. Noun in Arabic is called ism, all right? Even though, I need to clarify this over here, ism in Arabic, okay, noun in English is very narrow. And ism is much broader. What I mean by that, I'll explain it to you in a little bit, but let's just go over the Arabic first. So noun is ism, right? And asma is the plural of ism. That's basically what it is, okay? This is the plural, this is the singular. And then you have fi'l, Arabic for verb, af'al is your plural. And then you have harf, which is particle, and huruf is your plural. That's as simple as it is. Clear? Make sense? Everything good so far? Nice. Okay. So what what this means over here is when you open your mushaf, right? And I'd really encourage each one of you to have a mushaf in front of you, all right? Because we'll be referring to the mushaf a lot. Even for the drills and practice and applications and all of that, we will go to the mushaf. So whenever you open your mushaf, you see a page with words, right? What this lesson is talking about over here is that page that you see, every word in that page is either a noun or a verb or a particle. That's it. You have to identify what that is. It's either a noun or a verb or a particle, okay? All the words, they fall under these three, and I'll show you some application in a little bit, but does that make sense? Salwa, can you repeat it for me?
So basically in the Quran, all the words that you see, they'll fall under any of the three categories of noun, verb, or particle.
Very good. Noun, verb, or particle. Sadia, can you repeat that for me?
So when you open the Quran, when you open the Quran and you go to a page, every word will belong to one of the three categories: noun, verb, and particle.
You want to try the Arabic? What's a noun called in Arabic?
Ism.
Ism, okay.
And a verb is called fi'l.
Very good. And a particle is called?
Harf.
Harf. All right, very good. So these are your three kinds of words, right? Now, what we're going to do is we're going to start our study about the nouns first. We're going to do the study of nouns. It'll take us about a couple of months to finish nouns, all right? Once we finish nouns, then we'll move on to verbs. And the way particles work is that we will study them simultaneously with nouns and simultaneously with verbs. So there are certain particles that come with nouns, and then there are certain particles that come with verbs. So that's basically how we're going to move ahead. So level 1, this is basically level 1, which is the study of nouns, the study of nahu, okay? That's basically what it's called. And level 2 will be study of verbs, which is sarf. Inshallah, when we get to that morphology, you will find that term in the books out there. So for your reference, you can use Lisan al-Quran. I have posted handouts on your chat box there underneath the link. So you will find the handouts there. And you can use that for your reference. You can use that for practice. All the sheets are there. I hope it's uploaded, the document. If it's not, then it will be uploaded, inshallah. Okay? All right. So again, going back to our lesson, we're going to start with the study of nouns, right? I'm not going to talk much about verbs now. I'm not going to talk much about particles at this point. And the reason is, like I said, we're just going to focus on one thing at a time, right? We're just going to go over basic definition, and we're going to leave it at that, okay? Nouns, because we're going to study at length, right? So we're going to talk about it last. What do you understand when I say the word verb? What does it mean?
An action word.
An action word, right? Can you give me an example, Sawa?
Run.
Run, very good. You want to run from here? No. Okay, all right. And what about particle? Give me an example. Is, okay. If. Come on. Huh? Am, very good. Is, am, above, all of those are particles. So verb is your action word. What does a verb need?
A doer.
A doer, right? Now coming to nouns. What is a noun? What do you understand by?
A person, place, or thing.
A person, place, thing, idea, name of a person, right? Name of a person, name of a
Idea.
and name of a location, country, anything. All of that come under noun. So that is basically what you understand in English, right? Noun covers all of that. And remember I told you that ism in Arabic is much broader than how we understand noun in English, right? What I mean by that is in English you have your nouns, and then you have a separate category of adjectives, and then you have a separate category of adverbs. Let me test your English. Give me an example for adjective.
Soft.
Soft, okay.
Fluffy.
Fluffy, all right. Give me an example for adverb.
Quickly.
Okay, quickly. Anything else?
Slowly.
Slowly, very nice. Gradually, right? So adverbs and adjectives, they come separately in the study of English grammar. In Arabic, they're all bunched together. They come under the umbrella of ism. Okay? So you have all the nouns, even the pronouns, right? He, she, you, they, I, all of that is considered noun. Even that, this, all of that. So that's what I meant when I said that the study of nouns in Arabic, which is called ism, is much broader. The concepts that come under it are more than what we find in the English language. Okay? Simple? All right? So again, the three words. Give me the Arabic, just the Arabic. Ism, fi'l, and harf. Right, Sadia?
Arabic?
Yeah.
Oh, ism, fi'l, and harf.
Okay, let's review a little bit. What are the 4 points I told you in the beginning of the class?
If your intention is sincere and your efforts is sincere to learn Arabic, then Allah will facilitate the rest of it.
Stop, Sadia.
Don't compare your progress to anyone else's.
Very good. Third one.
Focus on the topic that we're learning, but if you have any questions about anything else, then you can ask it. They'll just be answered in a later time.
Very good. And the fourth one?
So this class is going to be in 4 parts. So the first one is the concept, then review, application, then review, and practice.
Review is the last one.
Review is the last one. Yeah.
Practice comes first. Okay, very good. That's nice. And we covered the 3 types of words. So that's nouns, verbs, and particles, right? What about the nouns? Repeat. What about the nouns?
Nouns include everything like in English, like a name of a person, name of a location, idea, or thing. But they also include adjectives and adverbs.
And something else I said.
Pronouns.
Pronouns, exactly. So all of that and more, okay? All of that and more, they come under the umbrella of ism in Arabic. That's very good. Okay, so what we're going to do now is, if you scroll down, right, there are these few exercises. We're going to quickly do them. All right, it's simple, it's in English, but at this point, you know, because we have not done much learning yet, so just the understanding of the concept of whether you understand what is noun and what is verb and what is particle, we just will quickly go over this example, inshallah, okay? So go ahead, exercise 1, identify nouns, verbs, and particles from the following. So I'll call out the word, and then you'll tell me whether it's a noun, verb, or particle, okay? Muhammad.
Noun.
Medina.
Noun.
The sun.
Noun.
Came.
Verb.
Verb. On.
Particle.
Particle. Does. Did. Verb. Stood.
Verb.
Listen.
Verb.
Me.
Noun.
Star.
Noun.
Rope.
Noun.
Upon.
Particle.
Under.
Particle.
Until.
Particle.
And.
Particle.
Very good. Let's do exercise 1.2. Choose the correct answer. More than one may apply. Okay? So, did he not create the earth for you? The verb in the sentence is?
Create.
Create. Very good. So the second one, did he not create the earth for you? The noun or the nouns in the sentence?
He
And
and you.
He, earth,
You.
you. What about create?
Creates a verb.
Very good. Creates a verb. Okay. Then they will soon find out. The noun in the sentence is?
They.
They is a pronoun, right? So it comes under noun. Very good. And then you have, did he not create the earth for you? The particle in the sentence is?
Did and for.
Good. Did and for. So there you go. You're done. You did extremely well in your first 2, 3. How many exercises did we do? 2 exercises, right? So it's pretty simple. Maybe we should do the types of noun today. But before that, let me go ahead and switch the screen, put this up for you. So this is what I wanted to show to everyone on YouTube and to all of you here is, like I was saying, I want to give you a demonstration of like when we open the Mus'haf, right? I see the Mus'haf in front of me, right? At home, you can open your Mus'haf. This is Surah Ikhlas, the first 3 ayahs of Surah Ikhlas. So when I open the Mus'haf, every word that I see is a noun, verb, or particle. So now I don't expect you to identify this at this time, but I'm going to do that for you, okay? So here, the first one that you have is qul, right? Sorry. Qul is a verb. Then huwa is a noun, right? Allah is a noun. Ahad is a noun, all right? Now, Allah is a noun. As-samad is a noun, right? Lam is a particle. Yalid is a verb, wa is a particle, lam is a particle, yulad is a verb. The reason I'm doing this is to drill home the point that it's only these three words that you have to really recognize, and you have to understand how a noun looks, how a verb looks, and how a particle looks, and you're good to go. Okay? It's as simple as that, really. Okay? You have to identify the markers of a noun, you have to identify the markers of a verb, and you have to identify the particles. That's the easiest part, actually. Once you have done that, then it's luxury from there on, inshallah. One easy tip I'll give you in order to identify nouns, okay, and this is not the only marker, but one of the ways to identify let me erase this. One of the ways to identify your noun is if you see a tanween, right? If you see a tanween at the end, okay? If you see a tanween at the end, or if you see an alif lam in the beginning, alif lam tanween, all right? Alif lam in the beginning, tanween at the end of a word means it's a noun. What did I say?
If it has an alif lam in the beginning or a tanween at the end of it, then that means it's a noun.
It's a noun. Can a word have you ever seen a word have both alif lam and tanween?
No.
You sure?
Yeah.
Let me show you how it looks. Maybe you've seen somewhere? No?
I don't think so.
Okay, let's try this. Here, have you seen anything that looks like this?
Nope. Never.
No, right? So this is what you're going to keep in mind. If there is alif lam, there cannot be tanween, and if there is tanween, there cannot be alif lam. Both of them don't come together, right? And this is actually the difference between a proper noun and a common noun. We'll talk about it later. That's the next lesson, actually, but I just wanted to talk to you about this here. Now, so this exercise basically was there to tell you that every word in the Quran, it is either a noun, verb, or particle, right? Now, moving on, I'm going to do another one, which is from Surah Qamar, the ayah that I recited in the beginning, okay? Wa, it's a particle, right? Laqad is a particle, okay? Yassarna, this is a verb. How am I identifying all of this? Because I have learned that there are certain markers that tell me that this is a verb or this is a noun. Al-Quran, can you tell me what it is?
A noun.
A noun. Why do you say it is a noun?
The alif lam.
Because of the alif lam. Very good. Lidhikri, it's a combination. We're going to skip over that. All right. Fahal, it's actually two particles together. You have fa and then you have hal, right? And then min is a particle, right? Muddakir, what do you think this is? Sawa. What do you think this is?
A common noun?
It's a noun because it has the tanween, okay? Muddakir is a noun because it has the tanween. So you see alif, there you go. You just recognized based on these markers that this word is either a noun or a verb. Got it? Okay, so the translation for this ayah was وَلَقَدْ يَسَّرْنَا الْقُرْآنَ لِلذِّكْرِ فَهَلْ مِن مُدَّكِرٍ. Absolutely, we have made Quran easy for remembrance. فَهَلْ مِن مُدَّكِرٍ. Is there anyone out there who will make the effort to remember? And everyone out there today is making the effort to remember, to learn the word of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And keep in mind that the goal is not to translate, but the goal is to go deeper. The goal is to build a deep connection with the word of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala so we can be transformed. I can be transformed by interacting with this personal message that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has sent down just for me, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is just talking to me, inshallah. Okay? Now, we'll quickly end today's lesson. It's a simple lesson, inshallah. Next class, we will talk about the properties of nouns, inshallah. We will start with the types of noun, which I briefly introduced today. And next week, inshallah, when you will have your handouts and everything, then it'll be more easy to follow, all right? So the point that I wanted to finish off today with is I have two ayahs there. One is from Abasa, and the other one is from Mutaffifin, all right? You see Abasa, ayah number 16, it says Kiramim Barara, right? Kiramim Barara. And then in Mutaffifin, it says Innal Abrara Lafi Na'im. Okay? Now, I'm just going to highlight on two words. Okay? So this barara, all right? And then abrar, al-abrar. Okay? So you have barara, I'm going to write it here, barara and al-abrar. All right? Now, both these words, they mean righteousness. Okay? Both the words, they have the same meaning. They have the same root. If you go to the dictionary, you look up the meaning, you're going to find the meaning to be righteous, right? But in Arabic, we have something which is not found in English, and that is that, number one, you know, in English, how you have a singular and a plural, right? In Arabic, you have a singular, and then you have a dual, and then you have a plural, right? And then you have the plural of the plural, okay? You have the plural of the plural. So I'm going to repeat this again. You have a singular, you have the dual, and you have the plural. And then you have the plural of the plural. So this is not part of the lesson. It is just something that I'm putting out there for you to think about and perhaps realize how important it is for us to understand the Quran in Arabic, because the subtleties and the nuances that the language captures, it is lost in English translation. And that's exactly what I want to prove by giving this example, okay? So this is not part of the lesson. Don't become overwhelmed, like, you know, why is she talking about this? We didn't talk about this. We didn't learn this. This is just to make a point, or this is just to motivate you to become more dedicated in learning this language, inshallah, okay? So barara and al-abrar, both of them, they mean righteousness, right? And both of them are plurals. In Abasa, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in ayah number 16, when he says kiramin barara, he's referring to the angels. Okay? He's referring to angels. And then in Mutaffifin, when he's talking about al-abrar, right, he's referring to the righteous people. All right? Now, remember I told you there is singular, dual, plural, and then plural of the plural, okay? So it's called something like jam'u qilla and jam'u kathra, all right? Meaning a smaller plural and a bigger plural. Does that make sense? You have a smaller plural and you have a bigger plural. In this case, your bigger plural is barara. Okay, the number of righteous angels indicated by using the scale barara, what it's indicating to is that the number is huge, greater than the number that is reflected by the usage of the scale al-abrar. Why do you think Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala used barara, which is a bigger plural for angels, abrar, which is a smaller plural for human beings?
Because Allah made like a bunch of angels, and all of them are required to worship Him. And even though Allah created all of us, we have free will, and there's always a few people that choose to do the good.
Exactly, good. The good is always a minority, right? But for angels, that's not the issue. Every angel is good. Every angel is righteous. So that's why the scale reflects that. When we're talking about human beings, abrar is being used. That innal abrara lafi na'im. Indeed, the few righteous people will be in the eternal bliss. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us from that abrar, inshallah. So the point that we take from here is that just because majority is doing it or they're following a trend does not make it okay. Because the quantity of right, the number of right is always few. Okay, and this is just one way where it has been implied here, and you will see it multiple ways implied in the Quran, right? So this is the point that I wanted to make, is the subtleties and the nuances that are lost in translation that impacts our relationship with the Quran. In the words of Imam Suyuti, rahimahullah ta'ala, who very beautifully described the difference between the word of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Quran, and translation. And we'll end the class with that, inshallah. I'll leave you to reflect on that, where Imam Suyuti says that if you can appreciate the distance between the creator and the creation, then you will understand the difference between Quran and translation. Quran, which is the word of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, translation, which is the word of man. How do we expect to get connected to Quran, establish a relationship with Quran, deepen our relationship with Quran through man-made words? It simply does not happen. To the best of our ability, with the potential that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has granted us, each one of us has to make our effort in making that connection. And like I said, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not look at the results. He does not look at how many ayahs you are able to translate. He looks at your tears, He looks at your effort, He looks at your commitment, He looks at your perseverance, and He facilitates it from there. So inshallah, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us all the tawfiq to be able to be sincere in our effort and be able to maximize on this opportunity that He has placed before us. Thank you very much for being part of this class today. Are there any questions, Afreen?
Yes.
So we always start a sentence with a verb. No, you don't always start a sentence with a verb, and inshallah you will learn later there are different kinds of sentences. There's a verbal sentence, so if it begins with a verb, it's verbal sentence, and if it begins with a noun, it's called a nominal sentence, and inshallah you'll learn that later. Will you do Ismul Ishara? Yes, inshallah, we'll definitely do Ismul Ishara in this class. It will come eventually. How detailed we are going with this class? Are we going through the type of noun in detail first? Yes, we will be going through the details. We will be going through the study of nouns in detail as much as possible in this format, inshallah. I don't see any reason why it has to be watered down. Like I said, if you do what you're supposed to do, and if Allah gives me the tawfiq to deliver it to the best of my ability, we should be able to learn together. There shouldn't be any hurdle, there shouldn't be any roadblock. Learning happens under all circumstances, and I'm a firm believer of that. What is the root word of these two plurals? Ba, ra, ra, right? Ba'r. And then you have, so angels have higher authority than humans. There has never been any comparison. We're not going to get into that. It is the capability of the angels with which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created them. He has created them perfect. They cannot sin. They simply don't have the willpower to, or they simply have not been given that freedom to choose or exercise their will. Humans, on the other hand, they have been given that freedom to exercise their will. So when the human, he chooses right, he chooses to be obedient to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he actually rises in his ranks over the angels. So human beings in reality, if they are obedient to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, human beings are considered to be the best of creation that Allah has created. I think that's it, right? Those are the questions that we have received for today. Before we turn off the camera, quickly, let's review today's lesson. What is the thing that we learned today?
The 3 different types of words.
The 3 different types of words, Aqsamul Kalimat, they are
Noun,
nouns, verbs.
and particles.
So explain it. When you open the Mus'haf, you see,
all those words.
you will find, say it properly.
All the words that you see on that page will fall into one of the 3 categories of noun, verb, or particle.
Very good. All right. So, one word cannot be both. Like a noun cannot be both noun and particle. Right? So that's simply our lesson for today, and we also shared why we should study Arabic. Plain, simple, straightforward reason is to get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In this time of crisis, please keep everyone in your du'as. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept all our efforts. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept the efforts of Epic Management. Once again, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala facilitate learning. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala keep all of us safe in our homes with our families in this difficult time, inshallah. Until next week, say it again. Until next week, inshallah, we will meet here same time, 1 o'clock. But remember to support Epic towards this pandemic. Jazakumullahu khairan. Inshallah, see you next week.